Have you ever noticed how the most dreaded task of your day often seems to grow scarier the longer you put it off? What if I told you that there's a science-backed way to not only face but conquer it before your first cup of coffee cools down? Welcome to my channel, where today we are smashing procrastination with 5 battle-tested tactics from beginner to pro. And no worries, it's not going to be another theoretical video bragging about the best productivity methods you have ever seen. No. I'm sharing my personal best practices that I have been using for more than 15 years in educational as well as professional settings, from university to startup over to consulting and corporate. Procrastination is everywhere and affects everyone, including me at times. So no matter where you are, I might have been in a similar place and can tell the tactics we are going to explore will help. So stick with me to discover how to transform your most avoided tasks into achievements, including a simple strategy to kickstart your day and others that could cut your to-do list in half in no time. So let's directly leap right into our first strategy. Picture this. It's early morning, the world is quiet, and there is your crowded to-do list for the day. On a usual day, you might have started working it off, or even worse, not started at all, feeling demotivated by the sheer number of items. Maybe you'd start to clean the house, check random news, or scroll through social media. And what happens? By the end of the day, you realize you only got halfway through, and the biggest, maybe most important tasks are still waiting for you. I admit, I've been there, and I guess you too. But the great thing is that there's a simple trick to turn this around. Imagine tackling that giant task head on first thing, before the day's distractions even begin. This method, famously called Eat the Frog, is all about doing the worst first, based on Mark Twain's advice that if you eat a live frog first in the morning, nothing worse will happen to you the rest of the day. So how do you apply this? It's simple but not easy. Tonight, so the night before you need to tackle it, identify the frog, the task you're most likely to procrastinate on the next day. Make it the very first item on your agenda tomorrow, and when you do this, 3 things happen. First, you will have the frog on top of your to-do list, making it so prominent it cannot be overlooked. Especially if it's an important or big task, you ensure you'll accomplish it the next day because it's right at the top, not hidden somewhere in your list. Second, you gain the momentum of having accomplished something significant early on that day. And finally, you free up the rest of your day for tasks that are easier to handle or perhaps even enjoyable. But eating the frog can be daunting. It requires substantial willpower and mental energy, which can be scary first thing in the morning. To overcome this, I prepare my workspace the night before, clear any potential distractions, and ensure I have a clear plan of action for tackling the task. I also visualize completing the task and the feeling of accomplishment that will follow. This mental rehearsal can decrease anxiety and increase your readiness to dive in. By making Eat the Frog a habit, I have transformed my mornings and love to use this approach when I know there is a big, complex, and maybe tedious task awaiting for me the next day. Moving on to our second strategy, let's talk about the power of partnership in beating procrastination. Have you ever noticed how committing to a gym session with a friend makes it harder to back out? Or how about promising your team at work you deliver part of a project by a certain date? There's something about making a commitment to someone else that boosts our ability to follow through. This is where an accountability partner comes in. And here's how it works from my own experience. I team up with a colleague, friend, or my husband, someone who's not only supportive, but isn't afraid to push me when I start to slack. We set clear goals for what we want to achieve. And then, that's super important, we schedule regular check-ins that could be daily, weekly, or even monthly, depending on the goals. During these check-ins, we discuss what we've accomplished, if we face any hurdles, and encourage each other to stay on track. It's not about monitoring each other. It's about motivating one another to keep moving forward. And believe me, knowing that I have to report my progress or lack thereof, adds an extra layer of motivation that doesn't come from self-regulation alone. However, finding the right accountability partner isn't always straightforward. You need someone reliable who understands your goals and who ideally shares a similar drive for personal and professional growth. In the end, you need someone who can give you pushback, who is able to motivate you with the right words, and who can challenge you. It's not just about keeping each other in line. It's about uplifting each other no matter what. So choosing the right accountability partner might not be easy and should be a careful choice. But don't worry if you don't have someone in your immediate circle. Online communities related to your interests can be a great place to look. Alternatively, you might want to reach out to someone else via the comment section below, and maybe there's someone in the community that will become your accountability partner. So in practice, my accountability partner at work and I use a shared document to keep track of our goals and progress. This transparency allows us to prepare for our bi-weekly discussions and provides a great, tangible way to see how far we've come. The impact? It's significant. On days when I feel like procrastinating, knowing that I have someone to answer helps me push through the resistance and get things done. So consider finding an accountability partner. This could transform not only your productivity, but also deepen a relationship with a friend or colleague through mutual support and shared victories. It's a powerful tool that I recommend to anyone serious about making progress in their personal or professional life. So if you are that person, I also recommend getting my productivity booster pack. Are you tired of feeling buried by your to-do list? Then you need this guide. So if you're ready to reclaim your time, reduce your mental load, and get more done every day, don't wait. Sign up for my newsletter via the link in the description, grab the free guide, and start making real lasting progress today. Now let's explore the next method that is so simple but effective. It's a pity so few people know it. I bet you have ever set a goal with the best of intentions, only to find yourself losing track as the day goes on. It's a common scenario. You start your day super motivated and ready to tackle big projects, but somehow distractions creep in and suddenly it's evening and you haven't made the progress you hoped for. So this next strategy is a game changer, especially if you're just starting to improve your productivity skills or find it hard to stick to your plans. Before naming the method, let me tell you a personal revelation from my own productivity toolkit. Instead of just planning to get things done, I try to create specific actionable triggers. For example, rather than telling myself I need to organize my office, I set a clear and precise condition. If it's Friday afternoon, just before I wrap the week off, then I will spend 15 minutes organizing my desk. This method isn't just about planning, it's about linking your plans to exact moments and actions, making execution almost automatic. And this method is called implementation intentions. It's particularly effective for beginners because it removes the mental load of deciding when to start a task. You simply respond to the cues you've set up for yourself. By defining what you'll do and when and where you'll do it, your day's tasks start to run on autopilot. But choosing the right cues and responses is crucial. They need to be consistent and embedded into your daily routine, like the morning coffee ritual. The regularity of the cue fortifies the habit, making the action that follows more automatic. In practice, you might want to maintain a notebook where one page is dedicated to different if-then scenarios. This not only helps you stick to your intentions, but also reinforces your commitment to them. Some of those if-then statements could be, if it is 7:30 a.m. and I've just finished breakfast, then I will spend 15 minutes reviewing my tasks for the day. If it's Tuesday and Thursday right after work at 6 p.m., then I will go for a 40-minute run. If I start my computer in the morning, then I will begin by clearing my email inbox for 20 minutes before opening any other tabs or applications. If it's 3 p.m. and I've been working for over 3 hours straight, then I will take a 10-minute walk outside to clear my mind. If it's Friday at 10 a.m., Then I will spend 30 minutes reaching out to new professional contacts or responding to networking emails. So seeing your structured plans in writing can powerfully remind you of your commitments, reducing the temptation to stray. For those just beginning to build better habits, leveraging implementation intentions can streamline your decision-making and dramatically boost your productivity. Try and script your day with these if-then statements, and you might find yourself not only achieving but exceeding your daily goals with ease. Now let's turn to a method that transforms the space around you into a catalyst for productivity. Ever noticed how walking into a cluttered room can drain your energy before you even start working? Or how a cafe's buzz can somehow sharpen your focus? This isn't by chance, it's a result of the environment influencing our behavior. And this brings us to our fourth strategy, creating a special environment tailored to encourage productivity and discourage procrastination. From my own experience, I found that having a dedicated workspace is a game changer. The space doesn't have to be large or lavish. What matters is its association with work and its separation from relaxation areas. Here's how you can implement this strategy. Design your space. Choose a spot that is exclusive for work. This could be a specific desk, a particular chair at your dining table, or even a corner in a room that you equip with your work essentials. At work, I have my own desk since my company does not yet fully do desk sharing. At home, I have also a dedicated desk for office work. It's fully equipped with a big screen, a great mouse, a keyboard, and enough space to work. Then the space should have minimal distractions. That might mean facing away from windows that look out onto busy streets and keeping my desk clutter-free. Equip your space with tools that enhance productivity, like comfortable seating, good lighting, and perhaps a plant for some greenery. On the contrary, however, it helps me to face toward a window. The busyness on the street or the look into a tree helps me think and focus when I need to think. I also love a clean desk, which is why I tidy it every evening to make sure I can return to a nice and welcoming environment the next day. Further, make the space yours. This might involve some inspirational quotes on the wall, or color scheme that soothes or stimulates you, or anything that signals to your brain it's time to work. In today's corporate world and the tendency to desk sharing, this might be difficult. But in any case, you can personalize your desktop background or bring your own mouse or keyboard. And finally, start each work session in your special environment with a small ritual. It could be as simple as brewing a cup of coffee, arranging your tools, or a few minutes of stretching. This ritual helps in mentally preparing you to transition into work mode. In the office, I usually start by setting up my equipment and getting some water and coffee. Similar at home, where I get everything arranged before opening my email inbox first thing in the morning. But here's also caution. While personalizing your space, be wary of overstimulation. Too many gadgets or visual stimuli can decrease your focus. So it's about finding the right balance that keeps you engaged and not entertained. In practice, when I step into my work zone, it's a clear signal to my brain it's time to focus. This environmental cue minimizes the mental energy spent on transitioning into work mode and maximizes my productive output. If you find yourself constantly battling procrastination, take a moment to evaluate your environment. Could it be inadvertently encouraging your procrastination? Maybe there are too many gadgets to play with on your desk, too many pictures or posters that make your mind wander, or anything like that. If so, consider making a change. Sometimes the spaces we create can either be our greatest ally or our biggest obstacle in conquering the day's tasks. So take charge of your surroundings and watch how they transform not just your work ethic, but overall productivity. It's not just about physical space, it's about creating an atmosphere that breeds success and accomplishment. So if you like the tips in this video so far, make sure to subscribe to my newsletter and grab your free copy of The Essential Guide to 3x Productivity. Let's be honest. Are you tired of feeling buried by your to-do list, constantly running out of time and never making real progress? If you're exhausted by the daily grind, wasting time and stressing out without seeing the expected results, then you need this guide. It's packed with proven strategies that actually work to triple your productivity by mastering 3 key areas. Building solid structures that keep your day organized and focused. Creating simple systems that make managing your time, tasks, and priorities effortless. And supercharging your workflow with Microsoft 365 tips that save you hours. So if you're ready to reclaim your time, reduce your mental load, and get more done every day, don't wait. Sign up for my newsletter via the link in the description, grab the free guide, and start making real lasting progress today. And finally, let's come to a method that is too simple to be true. One question before we come to it. Have you ever stared at a massive project so overwhelming that the mere thought of starting made you want to retreat? I know that feeling too well. It's like standing at the base of a mountain, looking up at the peak and wondering how you'll ever make it to the top. But what if I told you that there's a way to climb that mountain without feeling the daunting weight of the journey ahead? This brings us to a great approach I discovered and used during a particularly challenging project back when I was in management consulting. Initially, every time I thought about starting this task, procrastination took over and my mind started to wander. The breakthrough came when I shifted my focus from the size of the entire project to just one small part of it. Here's what that meant. Instead of tackling the project as a whole, I broke it down into what I call micro tasks. Each of these tasks was an extremely small, actionable step, something so simple that it was almost laughable to postpone. So for example, instead of overwhelming myself with the task to complete the entire quarterly report, I started with gather data for just one section of the report. This was a manageable task that could be done in a short period. I labeled this as micro planning, namely breaking huge tasks down into bite-sized pieces. Next, I set a timer for 20 minutes and focused solely on collecting data for that one section. Once the timer went off, not only had I completed the task, but I also felt a surge of accomplishment that propelled me to take on another small task. Having such actionable steps, you make your big tasks seem so much smaller and doable without the need for procrastination. This method of small wins created a ripple effect. Completing one section of data collection led to another and then another. Gradually, what started as gathering data for one section gained momentum and evolved into a completion of the entire dataset and eventually the whole report. In short, building momentum is the final piece to the puzzle, but without the need of actively pushing for it. If you have completed your micro planning and started to work on your actionable steps, momentum is built automatically. The secret here lies in the psychological boost that small achievements provide. By breaking down a large task into minuscule, manageable parts, you trick your brain into getting started, which is often the hardest part of the task. In line with the well-known quote, "Done is better than perfect." So back to the real world. In practice, I maintain a micro task list for my bigger projects. This isn't just a to-do list. It's a series of tiny, almost effortless steps that together build toward completing a big goal. And each small task completed is a victory for me, a step forward and a building block toward the larger objective. So if you find yourself overwhelmed by a project, ask yourself, what is the smallest action I can take right now that will move this forward? Begin with that. It's a subtle but powerful shift that can dramatically change your productivity landscape. And remember, even the longest journey begins with a single small step. Next to procrastination, time management is another challenge in everyday life, often leading us to underestimate tasks or stretch thin or multiple commitments. However, enhancing your time management skills is more straightforward than you might expect. So watch this video next, where I reveal 3 simple tips to dramatically improve your time management.